I worked very hard and to study. And I was also a little bit mischievous in the monastery. Then one day I was run away from the monastery. Then my father caught me there. Then he took me suddenly to the monastery. You sit here, you born for the monks, you born for to serve to the humanity, you sit there. So that was there. So I remember very clearly in the when this kind of thing happened. As well as being Tibetan, you also need to be understanding about the culture of the Tibetan. And Tibetan, as being Tibetan, you have some certain responsibilities. And then he suggested me, if you really believe, like objective of the monk, to serve to the humanity, then you better to go to India.
Which year did you come to India?
That was the 1996.
96.
Yeah, 1996.
How old were you at that time?
I must be around maybe like 22, 23, I'm not sure exactly.
Okay.
I was aware how difficult to escape. When I reached inside the truck, there were so many people already there, right? I couldn't recognize face properly because it was very dark. Then the guide came inside the truck and they said, and if you don't keep quiet, you're going to have the problem. And that guide said, you have to lay down, you have to lay down. Then in the light they may see the people, right? Then there was no truck. Then we have to crossing the bridge running. Then all the people go down and someone fall down into the water, big river. We couldn't find that person.
Hello friends, here we are at a very special place, Tong-Len Charitable Trust in Dharamshala, Himachal Pradesh in India. And we are sitting here, we are very privileged and very blessed to be sitting here with Guruji. Namaskar Guruji.
Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Welcome to Himalayas Digital, very special episode. Guruji, today we want to talk to you about your journey. The inspiration that you have created, what inspires you, and what is your dream and vision for the Tong-Len Charitable Trust, right? But we also want to understand the human being behind this, which is obviously you, and your journey, your story. Because I think the audience watching all over the world will be very inspired, understanding the human story behind you, and then then coming to Tong-Len Charitable Trust.
Okay.
Thank you. So Guruji, tell us about your childhood. How were you in the early days? Where were you born? What has been your journey? And how did you come from wherever you were born to this place now? Walk us through your childhood, your youth a little bit, what has inspired you, and then now to this stage, what you're doing. Please.
Okay. So thank you so much giving the opportunity. And yes, I try to explain a little bit about what you have asked. So yeah, actually I was born in Tibet in 1974. So at that time, the people of Tibet has a lot of difficulty and had a lot of suffers, particularly my parents during the cultural revolutions, and also it was just sort of difficult period time in 1974. Yeah, and I was not really remembering the situation in 1975, in 1976, in 1977. I don't know. I don't remember that. Right? In 1979, or maybe end of the 1978, maybe like beginning of the 1980s, something like that. So I had sort of something it's always set in my mind that my parents got a sort of like, lot of difficulties. And one day, the whole villagers, 2, 3 village and villagers met together. And my mother was sitting there, standing there, and my father was there, and all the relatives, my mother relative was there, and a lot of crowding people, so much things telling on, yelling, lot of things to my parents. And I was crying at that time, and my brother and me also sat in the other side, and with one of our relative, just holding. And I was crying and wanted to go close to my mother, but they didn't let me to go. And that was in my mind, and I was so sad. Then after that, my mother was released from that meeting, and she suddenly came and she in Tibetan, in Tibet, the woman after they did the marriage, they have some like things here. She just pick up that cleaning my sort of like noses, all these kind of things. So that's something set in my mind. But I'm not sure maybe this could be useful for this interview or not. I'm not sure, right? So now, and after the end of the Cultural Revolution in Tibet, and around 1995, no, around 1985, monasteries allowed to restore. And my mother and father was very religious person, parents, and they were very eager to make one of the son in the monastery, the monk in the monastery. They would like to send to the monastery. So that was one of the things they had in their mind. And since I was young, so even though I didn't become a monk at that time, I always need to be sit on the top of my other brother and sister in the family, and they offer tea, food, the first giving to me. I was treated in very special, since young.
Yes.
Right? And because of my mother and father believe, like in Tibet, is also the part of the cultures. Like if the one family has the 3 boys, the youngest one is need to go to the monastery. So they believe that I was born for the family to send and to be the monks.
Oh.
So I am one of the youngest son in my family.
Yes.
If we have in the family 4 boys, the youngest one is need to go to the monastery. If we have the 3, the third one need to go to the monastery.
Right.
That was the culture developed, right?
Excellent.
So I just would like to explain a little bit about the sense of the caring and look after either the animal, either the person, either the people, taking care, looking after, has been developed, I think, in every culture since young. In particularly Tibetan community as Buddhism, there's a huge sense. If the small child kill small insect, then this is a very big problem in the family. They believe that, oh, you have done such a big, sin and negatives. So that kind of thing, since young, they have our parents and our culture and our community have developed to us. So since young, we have very much, cautious on not to kill and not to do anything wrong. And as well as even though while you're working, you have to work carefully. Maybe they may have some insect. Maybe you can just maybe press and kill it under your food. So like that kind of things develop. But now I would like to bring a little bit more sort of I won't say more maybe I won't say a little bit more bigger, but when I was 9 or 10 years old, so I didn't get the opportunity to go to school. And I have the very great uncle and who was the very high level of the monks in Tibet before the 1959 in the monastery. Then during the Cultural Revolution, he had a lot of difficulty and he got a lot of tortures. And he said that during that time, he got the best time to practice the compassion. Even though someone tortured to you and toward to you and your people, and such of this high level, educators, monks, practitioners, they sending the compassion toward the. So, and at the same time, not only that one. So therefore, such as my uncle, he was not allowed to be in the monastery at that time. At that time, during the Cultural Revolution, there was no monastery in Tibet. All the monastery destroyed and not allowed to have the monastery, monks in the monastery. And so during that time, my uncle was sent to look after the cow and sheep and goats. So we had a huge, big, like jungle land and mountain, there's no one there. And I was with my uncle, my parents sent with my uncle, and my sort of most of my day that spending to look after the small baby of the goat and sheep. Some of the the goat, the mother, very mischievous. After they deliver the baby, just run away. Some are just licking and cleaning. So every day, I and my uncle have to look after maybe 30 or 40 newborn babies. So that was the the beginning things that the real sense that we had put into the practical in my uncle with my uncle. And in the night, so my uncle was sleeping there and I was sleeping in other side, and we had maybe 30 or 40, 50 small baby of the goat, sheep. And then sometime we have to feed the milks and I have to feed the milks, and this small baby the goat then licking our ears, and there was such of things that happened at that time. So that really inspired me how to care and how my uncle, even though like goat, sheep are animal, but the same sense of the caring, the compassion, no matter whether it's the person, whether it's the animal, doesn't matter. The perspective of the compassion to practice and to sending and to, in particularly the practice of the Tong-Len, sending your, positive things, virtues to the others.
Excellent.
And taking care and taking back the other's sufferings.
Yeah.
That kind of things practically happened when I was 9 or 10 years old. Then when I was 13 years, I became a monk. Then since 13 to 23, I stay in the monastery. And at that time, I think I worked very hard and to study. And I was also a little bit mischievous in the monastery. And when I was 17 and 18 years old, in some certain stage, I didn't get the feeling to stay in the monastery. Then one day I was run away from the monastery. Then my father caught me there. Then he took me suddenly to the monastery. You sit here, you born for the monks, you born for to serve to the humanity, you sit there. So that was there. So I remember very clearly in the when this kind of thing happened. But anyhow, and then in
Guruji, one
90
question. So,
yeah,
when from 13 to 23 you are in the monastery,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
about 10 years, right?
I think around 10 years
10 years.
and maybe 12, 13
10,
years.
12, 13 years. So, what does it mean to become a monk and to live in a monastery? So, what do you do there? You study, you learn about compassion. What is your daily routine as a monk?
While the objective of the monk is to serve to humanity. In perspective of the Buddhism, try to get enlightenment for the well-being of the others, not to your own sake only, right? And in the monastery, so we have to do a lot of studies in the Buddhist texts, right? Right from the morning to end of the evening, around maybe evening in 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So we have to do a lot of studies. And so we have the different kind of the level in the studies in a year 1, year 2, year 3, whatever something in the modern times, you can, call maybe class 1, class 2, class 3. So different kind of thing. There we have to do a lot of study there. And so in 1996, so it was very difficult to stay in the monastery. And then my uncle that we called, he has the omniscient mind. He know the figures, but I don't know how much exactly, right? But this is what our region people believe. Then my uncle told me that, so you really need to be understanding the main objective of the monks, or the monk's duty, responsibility. As well as the being Tibetan, you also need to be understanding about the culture of the Tibetan. And Tibetan, as being Tibetan, you have some certain responsibilities there. And then he suggested me, if you really believe the objective of the monk to serve to the humanity, then you better to go to India, and then you do study more in India on the Buddhism, and you have the potential and you have a possibility to help to the as much as in the community. So that was the message, and persuaded by my uncle, basically me to go to India at that time.
So, which year was this? Which year did you come to India?
That was the 1996.
96.
Yeah,
when you came.
1996.
How old were you at that time?
I must be around maybe 22, 23. I'm not sure exactly.
Okay, great. And then you came to, so from your homeland, you came to India, where you landed up in Dharamshala, Himachal, or you went somewhere else?
Well, before that, I would like to explain in two important steps
Sure.
that I have decided and I have faced and I have prayed. And then my uncle suggested that, no, you should not tell to your parents, because your parents may not be let you to go to India. So, and I really follow my uncle's instruction and advice, the guidance, right? And then in 1997, in February, I think maybe 13 or 14 in February in Tibetan calendars. So I left from Tibet. So around maybe afternoon. Before leaving from Lhasa, Tibet, in Tibet they have a very big temple and Buddha Shayamani's statues there. We call Lhasa Jo. And then around maybe 11, 12 o'clock, just I circumambulate this temple and went inside the temple, and in front of the Buddha's statues, so there's the one stone in Tibetan, there's the big stone, The Tibetan people believe if you sit on this stone, like a triangle stone, and praying, then whatever you pray, you will be achieved. But your prayer must be something positive, right?
Yeah.
So the day and the last day in Tibet, when I was Lhasa, living from Lhasa, and in front of the Buddha Shakyamuni, I pray that I was aware how difficult to escape from Tibet to Nepal or escaping from Tibet to go to India. And I could be die, I could be caught, I could be put in the jail. As my uncle suggested and recommending, and I also believe that the objective of the monks to serve to the humanity. If there is the possible to serve to humanity after learning of the Buddhism, please help me to escape from Tibet. If there is no possibility, I have no regret to die on the road. That was my last wishes in Tibet. That was my last prayer in front of the Buddha Shakyamuni's statue in Tibet. Then, from Tibet, from Lhasa that afternoon, and we, came through the very big truck. So then, inside the truck, the truck is covered by the plastic, whatever something, it looks like they have so much thing inside, but inside there's not really nothing. They put the monks and nuns and the other people in the lay people's dress, put them inside. I was inside the truck. After that, a little bit down in the nearby the end of the Lhasa. Then when I reached inside the truck, there were so many people already there, right? I couldn't recognize face properly because it was very dark. So then we left from Lhasa that day. After departed from the Lhasa 1 hour, and someone threw something inside the truck. They have in Tibet, they're using something in sneaking that says that you can have something like that kind of things there and throwing inside the truck, and we all are something like then in the guide came inside the truck, and they said, and if you don't keep quiet, you're going to have the problem. So then he was showing very angry. Then when we see each other's face, all these things. Then that night, an unfortunate thing happened. After 4 hours, 5 hours left from the departing from the Lhasa, there's the one big river that is getting dark, and the truck driver and the guide said, you have to stop here, you have to cut the trucks, stop there. And a lot of truck coming from that side, very strong light. And that guide said, you have to lay down, you have to lay down. Then in the light they may see the people, right? Then there is no truck. Then we have to crossing the bridge, running and the bridge. Then one big truck and a very strong light coming. Then the guide said, no, everybody go down down on the roadside. Then all of people go down, and someone fall down into the water. Big river. We couldn't define that person. We couldn't define. Then someone said, no, someone fall down in the water, saying, help me. Then we check in a torch and check that a very big river coming from that, and there's no possible to sort of finding. Then count. And the guide said, I have the 26 people. He count, and he said, yes, they have the 26. Then count again. He said, no, there's someone is missing. And then we try to search and try to find, but we couldn't find. One person died, fall into the water that night. Then the guide said, while this can be happen, all of us don't know who will be the next. So that also makes a little bit more anxiety, anxious, worries, a lot of things. Then we walked for 13 days. At the end of the 13th day, it was so difficult to cross because of the lot of snow and very difficult having the breathings and as well as also like a headache. So many of our friends had like that. So but anyhow, I'm very fortunate that I could escape from Tibet and now I'm here in India. And my first entering outside of the Tibet, it was the Nepal. And from Nepal to India. I came through the Tibetan reception centers in Nepal, and they take care of us, and they send us to here in India. And after in India, we received the audience with His Holiness, and also we got the opportunity to do study, whether we want to go to the monastery, whether we want to go to the school, there the choice has been given. So that's excellent. It's remarkable. So it's still, set in center of my mind, the first, day that, I saw His Holiness and got the blessing from him, and also the Tibetan government here in India, exile, have given the opportunity for us to study, and even they're giving options, whether you want to go to monastery, whether you want to go to school, option is there. That's great.
Excellent. So, Guruji, I mean, to say that you've had an incredible journey would I don't think would do full justice, right? Literally, you had an incredible journey from where you were born to how you grew up, and the inspiration from your uncle, and then you took that leap of faith. Anything could happen. You could live or die, and then made that wish in that special temple, and then your wish came true, right? Now, once you landed here, what inspired you? Now we are here, sitting here under this big tree. It's giving shade to all of us in a hot summer. You have become a tree like this that has given shade to a lot of students and a lot of orphans, a lot of people from the huts and the local, laborers, workers, kids. So what is that story or the incidents that inspired you to start Tong-Len, and what is the meaning of Tong-Len?
So, in 1998 and 9 and 2000, I was in South India in the monastery doing study. So I did study very hard when I tried to do study very hard in the monastery. But I was not really a great, student, who can do a lot of sort of like, studies, all this kind of thing. But I tried to make effort in the study. Then in 2002, I came to Dharamshala, and while I was staying in the Meklokganj in 2003, I saw several children were collecting rubbish and ate anything they found from the garbage. Then I was very shocked. At that time, I was reading a book called Training Your Mind. Then I was just looking down nearby my room. There was one big tree. Below the tree, I was reading the book. Then just looking down, these 3-4 mischievous boys collecting rubbish and find something from the garbage, and they ate without any hesitation. Then in 2-3 days later, I also discovered some people, urine on sort of garbage, that area. Then in around maybe 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, children come again to collect the garbage and maybe rotten vegetables, tomatoes, bread, they found, they ate without any hesitation. I was very shocked. Then my first reaction was I cancelled my dinner and then I cooked lunch more little bit and then I shared. And the work of Tong-Len started from gesture. I didn't know the language. He said, I come, let's share, let's eat. From the main bus stand to the temple, these boys and these girls chasing up with me, catching here, give me the money, just playing outside of the temple. Then I went inside the temple. Maybe if they found someone, they were not there. If they had not found someone, then they were there. Then they are just following back me to up to the McLaughlin in Men's Center. Then I was looking, look. So such of the child has a huge potential and very active. Very much possibility and potential is there. So the only thing is they have got opportunity or they have not got the opportunity that make the decisions to do study, to move forward the life to have the better. So then at that time I didn't have any plan to set up the charity, and I was not thinking at all, to start something for those children. Then the boys continuously coming to my nearby my room. We become good friends. Then after that, one day I have asked, and I have a good friend who translate me in Hindi. And then I also start to learn Hindi more better. I would like to communicate with these boys. And then one day I have asked with my broken Hindi, and I would like to know about where your parents live and where you're from. So then the boy explained to me the parents, they live in Dharamshala, Lower Dharamshala. Then I have asked the boys, can you take me one day there? Then the boy said yes. Then, but he said that not today, not next week, because we are going somewhere. And then he was disappeared. The boys disappeared for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and maybe more than 4 or 5 weeks. Then I was maybe okay like that. We disconnected. Then one day earlier morning, someone knocked on my door. Then the boy, again they mischievous. That was the Sunny. He was mischievous. And he said, as I promised you, I will take you in the slum where we live. So today we will take you. Then I realized the nature of the children is the honesty. Very honesty. Right? And frankly. Right?
Yeah.
So, yes, of course, every child has, very much more honesty and transparency, and they are also the innocence, of course, yeah. And so, then I decided, to go with this boy in the Lower Dharamshala, and then I saw the slum in the Lower Dharamshala. So that was such of the, shocked for me, and so many children, so many people, live such a difficult conditions in slum and Dharamshala. And I saw myself, many children pass away during the, monsoon seasons. And at that time, that was very common that a lot of children had the scabies, itchings, bleedings, so much things there. So I was very shocked. And then, later on, so I believe that, such as the monks that have witnessed the difficult situations, in particularly among the children, right, having in Lower Dharamshala slum community, then if I made excuse or if I make excuse saying that I am Tibetan, I cannot speak in Hindi, or maybe that kind of things for me, it is unethical. Such as taking my moral principle, ethical sort of responsibilities. So I decided to help to those children to rescue from the dying rather than making excuse. That was the second step to start the Tong-Len. Right? So then after the rescue, then question raised again, what will happen after 6 months again? It was very difficult. Then I have learned about the life circle at that time that has been developed in different ethnic groups. So I would like to give you the one example in ethnic groups. And one ethnic groups from the Maharashtra and Marathi communities. Actually, in the very big slum community there were 3 ethnic groups live together. So Marathi group is one of the difficulty one, and one that you can see the obviously greatly needed help, and also the most of the children's death come from the Marathi sectors at that time. And the life cycle, the mother had the baby inside the stomach. We observe after maybe 3 or 4 months. So then and then the mother tried to show in the street that I'm having the pregnancy, I have the baby in the stomach, I need the foods, and people give some money, right? Then once the baby delivered, then next day they start to take the baby in the street with the mother, even though her health is not good in condition, but she is forced to go to street to beg and to make some money to buy the foods. So that was there. Then the next step is 1.5 years of this maybe boy or this girl after the birth, another baby the mother has. Then mother lost little bit interest for the first baby, right? Then this continuation is going on. Then some stage also, not all the women that happened, and some of the Marathi women at that time. So there were some lady, they didn't have baby, and they already grew up, maybe something, maybe their child has become already big or whatever something. So then they started to rent 50 rupees for the day to take the baby in the street to get the money. That was happened. So it was so sad to know that. And then, once the baby get and the child get age of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are the several siblings moving together, moving with the mother in the street, beggings, and also some mother try to teach how to talk and how to sort of cheat or how to steal things. That kind of thing happen. So such as the mother that need to be tell to the child, that kind of thing is very difficult. But I completely understand the condition, the circumstance they had. Then I recognize it is not a bad person. The circumstance the situation made them to do it. Of course, when you are in the desperate situations, when you are so hungry, if they have anything, if they have no anything, I think you can tell lie. I think you can, something that there's so many things can happen. So, what I wanted to say is, it is not a bad of these people. It is the circumstance make them to do like that. So that just I want to convey the message.
Yes.
Yeah, there. Then when the child become an age of 11, 12, then they are not getting too much money from the begging. Then start to collect the rubbish. Then the age of the 15, 16, then start to do marriage. And some of the, these children, these young, did the marriage very early ages. But 2004 and 2023 has the huge changes, huge differences.
So what is the
I
change?
was telling the story of the 2003 and 2004. So that was the situation. So therefore, such of this circumstance sort of moved for me to act something.
To do something.
Yeah, to do something to help them. So therefore, we started our organization in 2004 to help for those people and to make a better livelihood and to give the education to the children. And with this purpose, we set up our organization.
Understood. So what does Tong-Len mean? What is the meaning of Tong-Len?
So the meaning of the Tong-Len comes from the Buddhist, concept. So Tong means give. Len means take back. Right. Receiving and giving. Tong means giving toward others. Receiving means other people suffering, receiving to you.
Excellent.
So that's the concept of the Buddhism.
Excellent, excellent, Guruji. So now tell me, today in the Tong-Len Charitable Trust, you have a high school, you have students who are provided a facility to live here, they are given the food, the meals, and excellent mentorship, coaching, they are studying also here. So how many students are studying here, and tell us in 2023, what is the facility you are providing and what does the charitable trust do for these students? What all are we doing here today?
Well, before explaining the outcome of our project in 2023, I would like to go back a little bit about the journey was, that started from 2004 to now. And in the beginning, we were very busy to rescue the children from the dying. Then after that, in order to have a sustainable future, and in order to, not to have such of the difficulty for the slum peoples, in particular the younger generation, then we start to give educations for the children. And also, we have launched the health projects. Right now, through Tong-Len education program, we educate many children, and more than 100 children completely changed their life, and 300 children in the process of the changing the life.
Excellent.
Right? In total, we have our education program, 500 children. From our health program, we have rescued many children's life, and we have been providing service to the slum peoples over the last 19 or 20 years, and with a different range of the service, general clinic, under 5 clinic, and antenatal and postnatal cares, and a lot of range of the service we have been providing. And the result that we have rescued, and we have also expanded the lives sort of like extensions. And when we comparison to our survey in 2006 to 2019 survey, there's a gap between the 10 years. The death recorded in the slum communities in 2000, 6, 7, 8, like among the young was a lot, right? The death recorded in 2019 in 2023, there are some certain deaths there. Then this is more natural death and age is death. So we have seen that the life expectancy is a lot, almost maybe 8 or 9 years. So one thing that's I think significant that we have achieved. So now we are talking about the education. To protect the good human being, we should not be focusing only in academic education. We should be include holistic education in our school. So therefore, since 2013, we try to educate our children holistically. And since we have the school in 2017 and 18, and our school is, educating the children through the different kind of areas and dimensions, we call here the holistic education our children are receiving right now. And the objective of the Tong-Len, the education particularly, is to protect the good human being rather than focusing only for maybe some certain professions. So this is the bigger perspective. While we educating and while we aiming to protect the good human being, some of these children become a doctor, nurse, engineering. That's excellent. That's excellent. So we have so many children now graduated, and so many children receive a professional, trainings and skill trainings, and become a professional such as the engineer, physiotherapists, doctors, journalists. So much things there, and we have achieved a lot. But now I want to go back. Look, imagine. In 2004, many of these children were in street. They were begging. They didn't see inside the school, right? And their parents didn't hope they could change the children's life. Now in the 2023, we achieved. And among the younger couples in the slum, the parents, the way of the thinking is much more bigger than the in 2004 and 2005. So in the earlier of the Tong-Len education program, it was so challenging, it was so difficult to persuade this family to send their children to the school because of some of the children bringing some income for the family. So I'm not talking to all the people in the slum, but there are several group, ethnic groups. Each of the ethnic group has a different kind of the social issue was there. So, but looking back in this kind of thing, it is so amazing that how much we have achieved. And now, even our senior students, so after they graduate, they are working here and helping with our organization and to the family as the returning to the community. So, and the Tong-Len vision, the Tong-Len's mission in the future, like in the beginning, it was the few people's dream to help to these children. Now, this dream is become our children's dream. They acknowledge what they received, and they want to be extended this to the other. Those have not got opportunity yet, they would like. So now it is the Tong-Len and our children's dream to help more as much as possible.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So that brings up the summary of Tong-Len, right?
Yes,
First to
yes.
receive,
Yeah,
and then to also
yeah,
give back.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So paying
Yeah.
it forward and
Yes.
moving the ball forward.
Yeah. Then another thing, I'm not sure. Maybe so how maybe disconnected to this interview. I'm not sure. So look, the vision that we have in one way is quite big, right? As the Mahatma Gandhi said, think globally, act locally. This is what we believe in initial stage. And yes, of course, we have feelings, and we would like to contribute to the society. And we acknowledge as being Tibetan that we receive from the Indian people, Indian government. We want to be acknowledged, we want to be returned, we want to say thank you. So this is also could be the one of way that we thanking to the people of India and government of India, right? And then, so helping poor people is the one part of the Tong-Len project. The objective of the Tong-Len is to have a betterment in the in the societies and global communities that can be flourished. The world can be flourished, right? So, and whatever the project, what we feel, what we have the sort of thinking, some area should be doable, achievable, and practical. Some area we also should have the big desires. Oh, one day I can have to all human beings, and Buddhist perspective, all sentient beings.
Excellent.
Yeah. So now I just want to make this more shorter. So Tong-Len recognize the source of the social issues such as the poor and poverty, and gap between rich and poor, example, are come from lack of the ethics. So it is very, very important to have awareness and to have a platform that people have opportunity to learn more about the ethics. And of course, the ancient Indian knowledge always inspire us as Buddhist monks. How important of the social work, how important of serving in the humanities. I think we should revive this philosophy, and so therefore Tong-Len is inspired by the His Holiness vision, cultivating human value. And we should educate, we should raise the more awareness, and we should our ethical principle integrated into our modern education system. So therefore, we are working here, and one of our department is, working on this, and so we hope maybe one day, maybe we can help, or maybe we can facilitate, or maybe we can, sort of support, maybe like, not just only inside of Tong-Len, maybe outside of Tong-Len. Right now we are supporting 73 schools in the Spiti Valleys. So beyond the Tong-Len project here, we are supporting for the ethical education. So maybe one day we can, like, support more. And our desire is maybe each of the school in India will receive ethics in education.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very nice. Guruji, how can people join in your journey and effort if they can? And how can they support Tong-Len Charitable Trust? If they have to support Tong-Len Charitable Trust, this video and the audience will be watching this. How can they get in touch with Tong-Len Charitable Trust and you and your team? What is the contact information? Do you have a website? You can tell us. Where is the address, and how can people contribute? In which way? By their time, by some donation, by how can they contribute to such a noble vision that you have to Tong-Len?
Yeah. Yes, Tong-Len Charitable Trust, we have the website. People can be contacted through the websites. And people can also read some information about Tong-Len on the websites. And regarding about the contributions, there are so many ways that people can contribute to our organization, including the voluntary work,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And including the supporting in the slums,
Yes.
for the sanitations, for the water projects, and so much things, including your clothes, which is not torn and not become so bad, then you can also share to the others.
Excellent.
So there. And so the another thing is that, Tong-Len is seeking a partnership and collaborations with other organizations and individuals like yourself to promote the vision of His Holiness, cultivating human values, which is very, very important.
Excellent.
Whether believer, whether non-believer, it is very important to have an ethical understanding more better. This is applicable to all. So His Holiness, giving the one example, like tea in waters. So we can live without tea. We cannot live without the water. Similarly, we cannot live without ethics. So ethics is very, very important. So therefore, we seek as much as more organization and individual join with us to flourish the world.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Guruji. I
Okay.
really appreciate your time.
Okay.
And it's been a wonderful the last couple of minutes to talk to you about
Okay.
your journey
Okay.
and where Tong-Len is today. And we will definitely request the audience who is watching today
Okay.
all over the world to please be in